Let's get the show started, my people. Let's get the show started. Lakers over the Portland Blazers, 110-102. We're not screwing around tonight. I came on right in time. I might have even beat Spectrum. I was trying. I was like, just hit live. Just go. Even if you're not ready, just go. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Thank you for being a part of the Hoops Talk post-game show here. Lakers over the Blazers. They end up winning by 8, 110-102. No Luka Doncic tonight. No Jared Vanderbilt tonight. So something to keep in mind as we talk a little bit about this game. Got a lot to get into. Got a lot to cover. Got a lot that I want to get into with my people here. I want to take a lot of your comments as well. We'll get a chance to hear from JJ Redick and some of the players post-game as the Lakers get ready to go take on the Denver Nuggets coming up on Saturday. Got to be honest with everyone, how they won this game, I don't think I was really all too concerned how they got the W. I just wanted to see them get off this 2-game losing streak. Really bad loss last night when they played Charlotte. They can run their record to 33-21, which is what they did. So they're 12 games over 500. The schedule's going to get a lot more difficult. You didn't have Luka going in this one. You didn't have Vandal going in this one. Portland had been playing better. They had won 6 games in a row at home. So for me, it had less to do with it really, truly had less to do with how they won the game. I just wanted to see them walk away with a W. I'm not telling you guys it's pretty. I mean, hell, let me point out a couple stats here. Okay. Actually, no, you know what? Let's take a listen because Trudell is with Braun. Let's hear what he's got to say. Let's take a listen.
I think it was sleep still. We did get in at 3, but I slept all the way till about 11:30 this morning. Got some rehab after that for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I slept again for about 2.5 more hours. I usually catch the first bus over here, but my body was like, no, not the first bus. I caught the last bus, got ready for the game mentally and physically when I got here, and was able to get a good roll win.
You did get some help from your friends tonight. I know that Austin Reaves earned your trust a long time ago now, but he has 3 defensive plays. He's able to get over 30. What did you see from him?
Everything. Obviously he made up from getting kicked out in the third quarter last night. We needed that effort from AR, both offensively and defensively. Got a big-time charge here, big-time strip right there at the end on Jeremy Grant, and he was also on the offensive end as well.
Look, you did have 11 turnovers. Maybe you got fouled on a few of them, but nonetheless, you're able to kind of find other ways to make sure that you get the victory. How did you see all that play out?
Yeah, and I was definitely, sometimes some of my turnovers because I was being too passive, but I still got to get the ball on time, on target, and I'll take account for 9 of them. 2 of them I was getting back in defense, trying to recover the ball, trying to save the ball. It didn't go our way, but a win is a win, and I'll be fine with it. I'll be better next game.
Last one for you. What's important as you move forward here now, reintegrating Luka starting in the next game?
It's not just next game. It's going to be a process for us for the rest of the season, obviously. As we continue to learn, what we want to do offensively, defensively, our system, our calls, our cadence. And then we got to also, figure out, and learn from him as well because he's such a great, unbelievable talent. And, we need to be able to play with him just as much as he needs to play with us, offensively, defensively, and all facets of the ball. So, every day, every game, every practice, every shoot around, every film session, we got to continue to get better and better and integrating our new parts. But he's definitely priority number 1.
Go get some.
All right, we'll break this down here. There's a lot to break down from that. I just wanted to jump into that right away just because I don't usually catch those. I usually just catch it when they're doing the presser. We do. JJ was able to catch that, and it was Braun, which means he probably won't talk a little bit later. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. So Lakers get the win, 110-102. Let me hit on a couple things Braun just hit on there because I think it's important. But just to kind of go back to what I was saying, I don't really care how they won the game because it's not pretty. I mean, you heard Mike Trudell point out 11 turnovers for LeBron. 11. Almost had a quadruple double. That's how I guess you could say sloppy the game has been for LeBron in some of these games this year. Austin Reaves had 6 turnovers. Between those 2 players, they had 17 turnovers between those 2 guys. But both of those players were also incredible tonight. Braun dropped another 40 after playing yesterday. Also had 8 rebounds, had 4 assists, had 2 steals. Austin Reaves, yes, he had 6 turnovers, but he had 32 points. He had 7 assists. He had 2 steals. Shot 12 of 13 from the free throw line, was attacking the basket. We know what happened yesterday, and even LeBron pointed that out, Lakers losing that game. And I thought, really, they lost that game And a lot of that was on the shoulders of Austin Reaves from getting thrown out of that game. It's an 8-point game. Probably should have got to the foul line and got a couple free throws. Instead, he gets the 2 quick techs. He's out of the game. Game goes from 8-6. Charlotte goes on a run. Lakers had their chances. They end up losing that game. It was sloppy. It's not pretty basketball. I'm not telling you the Lakers are going to go out and beat a lot of good teams by committing 22 turnovers. I think last night had 18 turnovers. You can't have 40 turnovers, averaging 20 turnovers a game in their last 2 games. That obviously can't happen. But sometimes you just need a win. And how you get it, I think sometimes it's not, it doesn't always matter how you get there, just get there. And I think tonight was kind of that. You know, you built a good lead and you feel like you're in a good position to, it feels like you're in control of the game. And then the third quarter happens. Well, end of the first quarter, Lakers are up 13. By the time you got to halftime, I think Portland felt good that it was only down to 8. By the time you started the fourth quarter, it was down to 1. So there were more moments where Lakers felt like they're in great shape. At one point, up 18 points in this game. I just wanted them to hold on. So that's all I was really paying attention to. That's all I really cared about tonight. When you do face better competition, okay, you're going to need the team. I thought something LeBron mentioned right there too, where they were saying about kind of integrating Luka Doncic back. And he said something I thought was important. He's like, it's not just about next game. It's about they got a lot to figure out together. And that's the reality. That's the truth. I mean, it's the one thing that I've been trying to emphasize in every either post-game show that I'm doing or when I do my show in the morning. The one thing I'm really trying to emphasize is I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know if they genuinely have enough time to be the type of team that they'd like to be. I don't know if they have enough of the right pieces in order to be the team that they'd like to be. I mean, you can easily make an argument that for this season alone, they were better off with Anthony Davis and Max Christie for this season alone. But that doesn't mean they're better off long-term, and that's really the reason why they made the trade for Luka Doncic. It had more to do with whatever happens this year happens. I mean, Pelinka was trying to make a move from Mark Williams. He was trying to give this roster its best chance that he can by the time the trade deadline came. But it's also really, really difficult to make noise with a 35-game stretch where you completely change the foundation of your team and really the identity of your team. So I thought it was interesting. Bron mentioned with Luka, it's like he said something to the effect, it's not just about him fitting in with us. They got to fit in around him. In the 3 games I've seen Luka play, Luka's trying to fit into the Lakers. That's not how Luka plays. That's not how Luka becomes a top 5, top 3, top 4, wherever you put him in the NBA. That's not how he excels. So it's going to be kind of fascinating to watch. And they're going to have some really tough matchups coming up. And I think in these tough matchups, it's going to tell a lot about this team. Let me just go through the box score here real quick because I do want to point out a couple of the players. I mentioned what Bron did. 40 points, 8 rebounds. We talked about the turnovers. Let that, they won the game. He was 8 of 8 from the free throw line. He was 4 of 8, shot 50% from the 3, shot well over 50% from the field, 14 of 24, and played 36 minutes. So, obviously something to keep in mind from that perspective. Austin Reaves had a lot of, I thought, special moments in this game. Maybe it's the charges that he was forcing, but 9 of 21 from the field. Let me tell you guys something. 7 assists, by the way, as well. 2 blocks and 2 steals. Let me tell you guys something about Austin Reaves' game that I love and I hate. I love when Austin Reaves is aggressive and trying to get to the free throw line. I think it's one of the strongest characteristics he brings to the Lakers. He's creative, getting to the basket. When he attacks the basket, he gets guys on skates a lot of the time, gets them off balance, knows how to draw fouls, and then he hits his free throws. What I don't like about Austin Reaves is when he's jacking up threes like crazy, and I still feel like he's doing too much of that. 2 of 8 from the three-point line today. I know yesterday struggled. He's been struggling with some of his threes lately. I just want him to take that notch down a little bit. I think sometimes he's too dependent on the three-point line. He was terrific tonight, but he still, jacks up a lot of threes. At least he got to the free throw line 13 times, and he's, money in the bag when he gets to the free throw line. Most times if he gets there, he's going to hit those free throws, and he was doing that tonight as well. A couple of the other players I want to point out here real quick. Dorian Finney-Smith, 4 of 7 from the field, hit another couple of threes, had a big tip in towards the end of the game, couple steals, 10 points and 6 rebounds for him. Jackson Hayes, 9.7 rebounds. You know, you're never really going to expect too much from him from that perspective. Rui, kind of an odd game for him. Struggled from the field, 3 of 7, only took 7 shots, but 12 rebounds. I think that's something we're all asking Austin Rui Hachimura to do on a more consistent basis, but that definitely doesn't mean that happens on a more consistent basis. And then really not that much contributions from the bench. I mentioned, obviously who wasn't playing. Dorian Finney-Smith jumped into the starting lineup. Luka didn't play. Jared Vanderbilt, you were missing him coming off the bench as well. Gabe Vincent, couple of buckets, just 1 of 6 from the three-point line. And then Trey Jamison, the third, was 3 of 5 from the field for 6 points. So kind of gives you guys just a little bit of an idea of how some of the other players did. So Lakers get the win, 110-102. Big game coming up on Saturday. It's going to be a fun game on Saturday. Luka doesn't play tonight, and this was just, I think, part of his regular rest. He was not on a minutes restriction yesterday. Going to be a lot of eyes on Luka. I'll tell you guys that right now. I haven't even looked at any of the comments yet, but I know these since he's been a Laker this last week, since he started playing, there's a lot of eyes on Luka right now and trying to figure out, hey, where's the Luka? Where's the guy that, everybody's really, really excited about, whether it's fair or not fair, but that just kind of comes with the territory. Let's listen to JJ Redick. After JJ, we'll start looking at some of your comments. Let's take a listen.
What's the key there?
Well, they're a really good basketball team, and they play hard. Like that's apparent from the first 2 games we played them. Kamara is very disruptive. I thought our guys' poise was huge, and our guys' toughness. Two of the biggest plays of the game are LeBron getting the swipe down on Anthony Simons, AR's charge on Jeremy Grant. Another game where we can't really make threes. We have a high turnover. I just thought they were a tough team. I'm not saying that. We needed to be tough tonight, and we were tough. We earned that win. And for our guys to bounce back, getting in 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, probably going to sleep at 4, just big time from our guys.
I asked you at halftime about LeBron, and then he goes on to get 40. Obviously, he did have some turnovers with that ball.
Double.
Yeah. What kind of run out of things to ask and say about it, but what's the level of?
Yeah, I mean, I told you at halftime, like, there's a staff we're talking before the game. Not sure going to sleep last night if he's playing today, and getting word this afternoon that he was in. It's like, man, he really just defies anything that's normal, and not just the physical feats and the plays. It's the mentality. He is, again, I believe I saw the other day, he's a billionaire. And he's playing on the second night of a back-to-back at 40 after 22 years with every freaking record and every accolade. And the kids will say that I'm glazing him. He's one of the greatest competitors. And Nate and I were talking about before the game. It's like, he's amazing to coach. He brings it every single day. Like he sets the standard for how you're supposed to approach this craft. And that's, to me, the most incredible thing. It's just the mindset to do it, get up the next day, do it, get up the next day, do it over and over and over again.
I'll stop it right there. That's a good place to stop it right there. JJ Redick giving praise. Let me say this here real quick. You guys remember on Monday I was doing my show. I was doing the Sliwa show in the morning, and I had somebody that was telling me, I was trying to give LeBron credit about, I think he was saying that, why did he sit out the All-Star game? And I think I understood what he meant later on in the day of why he was upset he missed the All-Star game. He was upset because he thought he took somebody else's place. Why didn't he give somebody else? Why didn't give the NBA a little bit more time so a guy like Norman Powell could have got in? Or I'm just naming off players. I don't even know who the hell's next. Devin Booker. You guys figure out who's next. And I think that the individual was upset at that, and there was a lot of people giving LeBron slack. I thought what the guy was mentioning was, hey, LeBron is, he's not showing up for an all-star game. That's bullshit, And I'm like, if you want to complain about somebody, you can complain about whoever you want. Don't complain about LeBron when it comes to actually showing up to work, because LeBron shows up to work. That's a good clip by JJ Redick right there. I like that. I think he's trying to show respect to a player that I think a lot of times gets respect, but in other ways, you'll probably appreciate and respect him more when he's done in the game. And you take a step back, and when in 10 years from now, when you're looking at guys trying to catch other all-time greats, it's like, so LeBron's in the front of that category too. Okay, so he's also top 5 in assists. Okay, he's also, the leader in this stat, that stat, this stat, kind of go up and down the list of all these stats that he's in the mix in, or the greatest of all time. But I think it's nights like tonight, like JJ Redick was trying to give off here. This is Thursday, February 20th. He's 40 years old. He is a billionaire. He doesn't have to work a day in his life. We all understand that. And LeBron is coming to work, and he's the one that is doing absolutely everything he can to get a win against the Portland Trailblazers on February 20th to try to keep his team from that being on a 3-game losing streak. Is the man perfect? He's not perfect, but he will go down as top 2, 3 ever to play the game. And one of the reasons why we'll have this conversation about him is because at this age, he's still the best player on the floor, probably 90% of the time that he steps on the floor, 80% of the time that he steps on the floor. That's just reality. That's just factual. Tonight, he was the best player on the floor. Yesterday, Lakers played Charlotte. All right, you could say, I don't know off the top of my head what LaMelo Ball was doing. I know it wasn't Luka. Now, I know Luka's going to need some time and everything else, but that's the world we're still living in, is that LeBron on any given night can be the best player on the floor at age 40. And that's what he was tonight. And I think that's the point that JJ Redick was trying to make. It's like the guy doesn't have to be doing this, and he's still doing it. What is driving him to continue to do this? Why is he still playing at this level? Why is he still spending $1.5 million on his body, or whatever the case is? All right, let's start taking a look at some of the comments here. And I have not got a chance to look at them. So God knows if you guys are in agreement, or you guys are going to say, Slee, relax on Bron. I know I'm already going to get everybody that says he had 11 turnovers. I already pointed it out 3 times. He had 11 turnovers. That's a lot of turnovers. It's a lot of turnovers. This is, oh, shit. Son of an idiot. Absolute idiot. Showing you guys my tea, because I was going to get people on here that I was going to say Slee's drinking bourbon. All right, we're good. Complete dumbass. Just a complete idiot. All right, let's look at some of your comments here. What does a billionaire have to do with anything? I'll tell you, Alan, what a billionaire has to do with what it has to do with it. It means you don't necessarily, remember I was talking about this after the All-Star game, that this isn't a good example. What it means is he's got nothing left to prove. There's nothing left to prove. The guy doesn't have to wake up every morning and try to prove something. I mean, people are going to put him wherever they want to put him. As one of the all-time greats, they're going to put him wherever the hell they want to put him. That's his point about he's a billionaire. You don't have to get up and fight the same way that you were doing 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or when you're trying to get your first contract. It's very common in life where once people get everything that you can possibly have, they're less driven. And I think that was his point by that. Let's see what we got. LBJ is the GOAT. Anyone who disagrees is a hater. I don't think you got to be a hater if you don't think he's the GOAT. I just think anybody that's not respecting what he brings to the table night in and night out, then is being a hater. I'll tell you that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Third in most games ever after tonight, he passed Vince Carter. It's different too. It's not just how many games did he play. It's also how effective is he at this stage of his career. How effective is he? John Drake. I really dislike 3-guard lineups. Would like to see Cam back playing. Too many offensive only or defensive only lineups. Love Jameson over Len. Okay, let me say this here real quick. By the way, I don't got a problem with Alex Lynn getting less and less minutes. So if that's the case, I think that's going to be fine. And I know what you're talking about here, more of the balance. And we spent some time talking about this. We've talked a little bit about, I would prefer that in the starting lineup, I would prefer Austin Reaves comes off the bench for the Lakers. I don't think that's going to happen. I do wish that they had a little bit more of a defensive presence just to kind of balance out that starting lineup once Luka's back, and I'm sure he'll be back on Saturday. But I don't think they're going to be doing that. But I get your frustration there. The only thing that I would tell you, and I think he's earned this, JJ Redick has earned the I'm going to figure it out. Like, I have faith that JJ Redick's going to figure it out. I do. Andre Miller, by the way, thank you very much for the super here, brother. I appreciate you. Andre Miller, 1 W leads to another, one step at a time. Maybe that's why I'm talking about I didn't really care how the Lakers won tonight, just as long as they found a way to get a win. You just want to get off that slide. Get 2 slides or 2 losses in a row. You just want to kind of get back on track a little bit. And I felt like tonight, however they got there, they got there. Listen, Portland has been playing better. They are playing a lot tougher. They had won 6 games in a row at home. So they're doing a little something there. Lakers are on the second of a back-to-back. Laker in Hawaii, ugly, but we take the win. I don't know if 11 turnovers is more impressive than 40 points. A lot of turnovers. Clutch, Luka will never get into rhythm because of Austin Reaves. All right, let's get a couple more of these in. Do you think Mavs knew Luka is washed? Can I tell you guys something that's kind of interesting? I got a lot of comments coming at Luka. Let me save Luka for a little bit later. I'll come back to Luka in just a little bit. AR is just a ball hog. All right, we got some Austin Reaves hate today. Slee, we should never trade Austin Reaves. Denver Saturday. Don't know if Luka will be able to sustain meaningful play, at least a win going into Saturday. Okay, I'll get into some of these other comments here in just a second. But let me kind of get the Austin Reaves stuff out of the way here, and then we'll keep going. Damn, a 40-year-old carried us tonight. 40-year-old has carried the Lakers on a lot of nights. I like this. Sliwa, nothing to complain about tonight. Nothing to bitch about tonight because they played hard. You're right about that. I think there's I could kind of sit back and talk about one specific thing I could talk about. I mean, there's a couple things I could point out that the Lakers can do better in, but just grab the W and figure it out. Let me say this real quick on Austin Reaves. All right, so for Reaves, I think for those, if there are some people right now that are complaining about, hypothetically, if you're complaining about Austin Reaves, I don't really know what to tell you. This is who Austin Reaves is. He's a very, very valuable player at his price, at what his contract is. He's over-delivering way more than what his contract says. He's kind of come up through this Lakers system. I think on many nights, he's overplaying what he's typically done. I think he's overplaying what he probably should be doing. Are there times where Austin Reaves, you say to yourself, man, I wish Austin Reaves was doing this, or I wish Austin Reaves was doing that? Sure, I think there's a lot of times where you can say that. But for the most part, I feel like I'm complimenting Austin Reaves a lot more than I'm frustrated about him. Now, maybe your expectations, maybe he's created different expectations in your mind, which is also a compliment to his game. Maybe your expectations aren't realistic for him, but I think he's I think he's beyond overplaying whatever contract that he has. The strongest suit about Austin Reaves, and somebody put it here in the comments, you're going to get 110% from this guy all the time. He's phenomenal at drawing fouls and getting to the basket. He has the capability, when he decides not to be as much as a scorer, he has a capability of being a pretty good distributor as well. I wish he would do a little bit more of that. My frustrations with AR is when he's taking ill-advised shots, taking too many threes, or not facilitating enough. But for the most part, not a lot of negative to say about Austin Reaves from my perspective. ZJ here. Stop replying to people discussing or dissing AR. He's an undrafted gem, complimentary player. We're beyond lucky to have him. Stop acknowledging these trolls. It's not whether I'm acknowledging or not acknowledging. I think the chat is the chat. People are going to have different opinions. So I got to make sure that, I don't need to just read the things that I agree with. It's also important to read things that I disagree with, because I think they're just wrong. That doesn't mean Austin Reaves can't have bad games. That doesn't mean Austin Reaves is perfect. But I think you're getting a pretty damn good player out of Austin Reaves for what you're paying for him, how he ended up on the roster, how you've kind of developed this guy into being a real player on this team. But ZJ, I appreciate the comment, but it's actually kind of important to highlight some of these comments that I disagree with as well. So something to keep in mind there. We can't just agree with everything. And I think that would, frankly, I think it'd be a little bit of a boring show if we all just sang Kumbaya together. I don't mind singing Kumbaya. I'm down to sing Kumbaya with anybody. But there's times to sing Kumbaya. All right, shout out here to one of our great partners. I want to give a quick shout out here to the Wallace firm. Thank you very, very much for being a partner here of the Sliwa show, Hoops Talk, the postgame show here. If you or someone close to you has been seriously injured or is dealing with the loss of a loved one, you should find out what legal options you have. You deserve the absolute best in the business. And I'll tell you a little bit about my personal relationship with Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. For about, I've known Brad Wallace for about 5 years. He can represent anybody in the state of California. He was with me when I was at 710 ESPN, kind of followed me on 710 and was like, yep, I want that guy to do my endorsements with me. We grew a really nice relationship, a really authentic relationship. And here I am on YouTube. And Brad Wallace has decided to, invest into what I'm doing, invest into the channel, try to help me grow the channel as well. And I'm very appreciative of him. I hope you never need him, but I'm just throwing this out there. If you're ever in a situation, a serious injury, somebody's walking through some type of a legal issue that you're in, a family member or whatever the case is, you got options. I know it's an intimidating, daunting process. Let an expert in the field help you. That's Brad Wallace of the Wallace firm, and I could make a personal introduction. I got a URL here, so something just to keep in mind, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa to get a free consultation, or you guys can just hit me up directly and I'll make a personal introduction to the owner of the company. So good person, good dude, supporting the channel, very appreciative of him. And I can't, certainly if he's somebody that can help you with a legal matter, then hopefully he can help and I can make an introduction. All right, let's keep things going here. Lakers over the Blazers, 110-102. I got some more comments that I want to get into. Bron is talking again. Let's see what if Bron's got something different to say. Let's take a quick listen.
To fall asleep, you put forth a tremendous amount of physical energy. Like, is it easy for you to fall asleep? Are there certain things that you do to when you know you need an extra little bit?
Every night has its own challenges, and obviously, especially back-to-back. But I have some methods on how I'm able to go to sleep.
Save that for the book, or
yeah, for sure. That's not for everybody. That's not for everybody. No, not this trip.
Why? JJ talked about this a little bit, and Dave asked, why are you still doing this? Like, you're 40 years old, made a lot of money in this league. Like, why?
I still love the game, and I still got a lot to give to the game, give to my teammates, give to this league for why I'm here. I don't have much time left. So, while I'm here and until the end of time, I'm going to try to give what I got when I'm out on the floor. So, why? It's just the love of the game. And also have the opportunity now to be able to show my son the ranks of how to be a professional, what this league is all about, and be along him every single day. That's a treat, unless he's with the South Bay, which is actually, I think, going back for the game tomorrow. I think they have a game.
On nights like tonight when three balls not falling, they're picking up full court, a lot of physicality. How gratifying is it for this team in particular to handle that and with poise?
I mean, it's very gratifying, especially, you're going against a team with they had their full roster tonight. And obviously we was shorthanded, obviously when our big guns being out. So for us to be able to pick up in Luka's absence and all of us kind of chime in, and obviously, AR, being AR tonight and even some of the guys that it's not, I'm accustomed to playing always with us. You had Goody who came in and gave us great minutes. You had Trey came in and gave us great minutes as well. And that's just next man up. And we needed that from those guys. Those guys play, in the South Bay games and they were able to come up here and make an impact. And we needed that tonight, especially, being shorthanded.
We'll stop right there. Yeah, I think there's a little something. I think Braun is kind of referring to it as well. Just kind of take the W. It wasn't going to be an easy game. No Luka. Go from there. Okay, I do want to talk about Luka here, and there's a few things that I want to get into. I'm trying to star some of these comments here while we're going. So let me do that. I think we got a couple here. Okay, so let me do this here real quick. I'm gonna wait on Luka. Let me get some more of your guys' comments, and then we'll have. There's, I think, just too many different conversations going on. And I love Austin, but he kind of needs to work on his shot selection. This game and the last one, he just keeps chucking up contested threes. I know he wasn't getting the calls tonight, but assists. I don't disagree with that. By the way, I don't disagree with that. I think, guys, just because you give Austin Reaves a compliment, it doesn't mean you can't also be critical about his game. It doesn't mean there are not areas that he can't be better in. Let me give you guys a good example. Rui went through a stretch where it was like 4 or 5 games. I'm like, damn, Rui's playing really well. So you know what I did? I gave Rui credit. I'm like, Rui's playing really good. Give this man his credit. And then there's going to be times where Rui struggles, and it's like, all right, look what Rui's doing again. Like that just kind of comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. I could even let me use the Lakers as an example. Lakers were playing phenomenal basketball over a stretch of about 12, 14 games. They looked like shit for 2 games in a row. Do I pretend that they don't look like, they didn't play bad against the Jazz and then play bad last night against Charlotte? Like, I think it's not everything's got to be perfect. So I'm just saying with Austin Reaves, the thing that I think I'm pointing out here is there are a lot of games where we're critical about Austin Reaves in a post game, and we should be. But then there's probably not enough games where we're giving. Austin Reaves has created this expectation. To be honest with you, nobody thought Austin Reaves was going to be a consistent player in the league that I've heard some people say, hey, that guy might have a chance to be an all-star. Whether he's an all-star or not, but like just to even be in the conversation. So, anyways, that gives a little bit of context right there. Let me get through a couple more comments here. Mitch, thank you very much for the super. Mitch also donated something else that I'm going to get into in just a little bit. Very, very nice of him to do this, and I'm very appreciative of him to do this, but we'll get into that in just a second. Mitch, thank you for the super, brother. LeBron and AR haters. Where are you at? Basketball is about rhythm and chemistry. It takes time to get used to things after a change. First half, JJ was trying things. Well, I think I will tell you this, Mitch. I don't know what the Lakers are. I really don't. Like, I had a good idea of what the Lakers were when it was LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Austin Reaves, Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt. I was starting to get a really good idea of what that team was. That got completely blown up. And, obviously, if you've listened to me since that trade happened, I 2,000% agree with the trade. But it doesn't mean I know what this team is for the rest of this year. I don't. So it is going to take time for the rhythm and the chemistry, but we could also be sitting here in 30 days and just say, like, hey, this roster is not going to make any noise in the playoffs. That could also happen. Probably more likely that happens than, oh my gosh, this is the team that everybody's got to chase in the Western Conference. But we'll see. I think it's going to be, I think it's a tough position for them to be in, but this is the price of doing business to go get Luka. It was the price of doing business to go get Luka. And I got a question for everybody about Luka here in just a second. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Reaves has one of the softest touches I've ever seen going to the basket ever. Call me crazy. Yeah, who had soft touches going to the basket? You think of guys, Steve Nash kind of immediately comes into your mind. You think some of these guards that had those pure floaters around the basket, and that's kind of what Austin Reaves has become. He's got the ability to get to the basket, free throw line extended. He kind of finds his spot and always has a nice touch getting to the basket. David, I appreciate the super very much, brother. I'm going to keep an eye out here just to see if Austin talks, and if he does, we'll run to it. Okay, I got to give a couple people here some love. Wisteria Village and Mitch Potter. They are gifting. Wisteria gifted a Hoops Talk membership. For those who don't know, less than 2 weeks ago, I started memberships on YouTube, MVP memberships, and have already over 100 that have signed up. I'm greatly appreciative of it. It's $3 a month. It's a great way to support the channel, and I will make sure you're getting much more value than $3 a month, but I just started it. So I'm kind of working on what some of the content's going to be. A lot of it's going to be more behind the scenes, Q&As, things along those lines. But Wisteria, I really appreciate you throwing out a membership. And Mitch, 5. He throws out 5 memberships there that people can take advantage of. So very nice of the both of you guys to do that. I really appreciate it. If you do want to be a member, I'm going to put it right here in the chat. You can click on the link. And would love as many members as possible, and I will do my best to make sure that you guys are getting value out of that. All right, thank you everybody for doing that. I'm keeping an eye out here on post game and seeing if anybody's talking here. You think Lakers got a shot this year, Zach? I got to be honest. It's going to be an incredibly difficult hill to climb. If you want me just to be completely real and honest. There's a lot that's going to have to go their way. There's a lot that they're going to have to figure out in a short time, and that's just being honest with you. Here's Austin Reaves on the Lakers win.
Took a charge, and I think there might have been one more swipe in there as well. What was that? Just trying to do whatever you could do to try to get a victory.
Yeah, they were letting us be aggressive, be handsy. So seeing opportunities to try to make a play, and they went our way. Also, Brown had a really big play with the swipe down. Off, I think it was Simon's leg. So big timely stops.
Portland plays really hard. They've got big wings, put a lot of pressure on the ball. How do you and LeBron still find ways to kind of be efficient, get to the line, hit shots? It has to be a higher level of difficulty than some opponents.
Yeah, they got a group over there that's active. They got length. And they play really hard. Kamara is one of the best defenders in the league. He's got discipline, but also has a reputation of being a defender. So therefore, he can be really physical every single possession. And it's kind of like they can't call every foul type of situation. So he knows that. He plays that to his advantage, which he should. If you're a young player in the league and you want to be really good at defense, I watch him and take away the things that he does. So it's not just him though. The whole team, is active. Robert Williams is a good, paint protector as well as Klingon. So, I like their team.
They're going to be nice when you guys miss shots like this. They're going to be nice when
we'll do final one here.
Really. But just sort of how have you felt, like, big picture about the overall sort of like competitiveness and how hard this team is playing on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think in the past, I think I could say this. I think in the past, especially my first 2 years, maybe a little bit my third year, a little bit last year. I don't know if we'd have won this game. I think in the past, young athletic teams that play really, really hard, you obviously have to match their physicality and pace, and you got to stay poised through it all. And I feel like this year we've done a really good job of matching that intensity and also playing with IQ as well. So I think that's a major leap from what we've done in the past.
All right, we'll end it right there. That's Austin Reaves. Look at those stats: 19 and 6 a game this year. There's some areas he can improve on, but 19 and 6 this year for the Lakers. Those are phenomenal stats for Austin Reaves. About 36% from the three-point line. I wish he was, 38, somewhere around there. I just wish he took a little bit less threes. I've said that before. And I think he's got the ability to be a better facilitator than people think. And we're going to see how that mix works together. I'll go back to this comment here. Zach put out there. You think the Lakers got a shot this year? I'll do this with our people here. Let me kind of I'll get as many comments here as I can from Laker fans specifically about this comment. You think the Lakers got a shot this year? It's going to be very, very difficult. That's just the reality of it. It's going to be very, very difficult. I think they had a better shot with the previous team that they had when it was still with AD, because that continuity was there, that you kind of knew what they were. Defensively, you knew what they were. Something along those lines, right? Like something, I think there was definitely that type of vision from what it was. You knew exactly what it was. This is going to take time. I mean, that's just the reality. I think it's going to take time, and I think it's going to take a lot of kind of moving around by the time you get to the summer. Okay, what works, what doesn't work, what players are going to stay here, what players aren't going to stay here. I encourage you guys to go back. I did a good interview with Bobby Marks, and I was talking to Bobby Marks about the future coming up, or the summer coming up. They got a lot of expiring contracts because that trade never went down with Mark Williams. They still got that 2031 pick. So I think these next 30 games, to be honest with you, I almost feel like it's house money for the Lakers. I almost feel like you have to just kind of see what you have, see what works, see what doesn't work. If you make a run in the playoffs, it's probably going to be dependent on what the matchups look like. The reality is they don't have size, they don't have enough rebounding, and how much is that going to hurt them? So we'll obviously play it from there. I think it's a fair question, and I like to read some people's, obviously I like to read some people's comments on this of what they think. Let's see what we got here. Somebody here pointing out to Mitch for hooking it up on a membership. So I appreciate that. Let's see what we got here. We got people giving love everywhere. Not this year, somebody's saying. Any team with Bron and Luka have a shot. By the way, you can make that case. Nobody's going to think you're crazy by making that case. My only thing is, do you have enough time to kind of work things out? Is the roster complement the players that you have? That's going to be the biggest challenge for the Lakers. And, the reality is, who did I have on? Kevin Gray Jr. earlier in the week, and he was telling me, he's a guy that's been covering the Dallas Mavericks. He's like, if you have Luka, you got a shot. It's like, all right, that puts things in perspective. And I'm sure some people say the same exact thing about LeBron. If you got LeBron, you got a shot. But I'm going to probably fall more on this line where it's next year, you have a much better idea what you have and probably have a better shot next season. All right, let's see what we have here. John Wayne. Why does the basketball savant turn the ball over so often? Why does the self-proclaimed GOAT seem to need a closer? Why can't he play off the ball? All right, where do you want me to go with this, John? Where do you want me to go with this? I appreciate the super very, very much. Let me start off with the first one. Why does the basketball savant turn the ball over so often? I don't know what Bron was doing, at age 25 and 30 and 33 and 35. I'm sure his turnovers were not this high. But I think anytime you got somebody that's got the ball as much as LeBron does, and listen, there's a part of LeBron that sometimes is careless with the ball, like he is. But I think this stage of his career, not that I want to justify 11 turnovers, because I don't think there's a way to justify 11 turnovers. But if you told me he had that many turnovers and he wasn't doing anything else, that's a problem. He's still getting the assists, still getting the rebounds, still getting the points. And I'm not here to justify 11 turnovers, but that's just the reality. Why does the self-proclaimed GOAT seem to need a closer? I think LeBron, I've said this before. I don't think LeBron reminds me more of Magic than Michael. Okay. Kobe is closer to Jordan than LeBron would be, but that's not how LeBron played. Like if you said, hey, you gotta tell me players that the closest that you could think of. Michael Jordan is 1A. Kobe was trying to be a version of Michael Jordan, and it's probably the closest thing that you can have. Magic was this 6'9" point guard that made everybody better and filled up the stat sheet. LeBron is as close to Magic as you can be, but better, right? LeBron's a better version of Magic, just, his longevity too, how many years he was in the league and everything else. So I don't know if those help you with a justification, but I think styles are different. LeBron was okay with Dwayne Wade taking a final shot or Kyrie taking a final shot. Kobe wouldn't be okay with that. But that doesn't mean that LeBron isn't valuable or isn't a better player than those players that I'm talking about. Just stylistically, it's different. And why can't he play off the ball? Because he's a quarterback, not a running back, not a wide receiver, not a tight end. He's a quarterback. He controls the entire game. John, I think you got to know the game of basketball to be giving LeBron a lot more love than that. But I appreciate, the comment either way. Amir, thank you, brother. Look at Amir coming in with a 20 spot here. Amir, thank you, brother. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for doing that. I agree with you 100% about the Lakers' chances on a postseason run. Next year is where it's at. Yeah, doesn't it feel like they're going to need time? Guys, I genuinely mean this. If they went 5-5 in their next 10 games, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, frankly, it's just kind of nobody really knows what they're going to be. Their next game coming up. Lakers got Denver coming up. Okay. We'll look at their schedule here for a quick second. Here's a Lakers schedule coming up here. You got Denver coming up on Saturday night. I saw a lot of people saying, Slee, is this a barometer game? Yeah, it is. It's definitely a barometer game. You need Luka to play, and you need Vando to play as well. Denver's won 9 of their last 10 games. They're the hottest team in the NBA right now. Let me see this, actually. I want to see one thing here real quick. Let's see what we got here. Denver's won. By the way, they're now second in the West. They just passed Memphis. Memphis has lost a couple games in a row. There's some vulnerable teams right now in the Western Conference. I mean, Memphis is 6-4 in their last 10. Houston's 3-7 in their last 10. Clippers are 5-5 in their last 10. I mean, if the Lakers can, that's why those other 2 games really hurt them. The Utah and the Portland game hurt them, or the Utah and the Charlotte game. Yesterday's game really hurt the Lakers. But anyways, let me go back to my point. Point I was making is Denver's won 9 in a row, 9-10. They're always ready to play when they're playing the Lakers, but the matchup's going to look different. This isn't the same Lakers team. So even for Denver, they're going to be trying to figure out, okay, well, AD's not there. One of the best two-way players in the league is there. How they defend the Lakers is going to be more on the perimeter. It's going to be less in the paint. It's going to be less around the basket. It's going to be fun to watch some of these games, but I'm going to go back to what I was just saying here. In these next 10 games, Denver, Dallas, Minnesota, Clippers. All 5 of those teams are playoff teams. Is Dallas in the playoffs right now? Yeah, they're 30-26. Now, they're dealing with their injuries, so we know about that. So all 5 of those teams in the playoffs. You got a New Orleans team that, we know where they are. Then New York, Boston, at Boston, at Brooklyn, at Milwaukee, at Denver, Phoenix again, San Antonio, Denver again, Milwaukee again. They just got tough matchups everywhere. We'll find out a lot more about this team. I mean, I don't want to sit here and try to make a prediction like I know exactly what this team is. I think it's incredibly fair to look at this team and just kind of say, like, all right, we're going to find out more about what this team is. This was the Slee. Is this a barometer game? It's a barometer game. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Amir, thank you very much for the super again, brother. I really, really appreciate that. Very, very kind of you to do that. Let me get another one here. Something tells me Luka doesn't re-sign with us. Let's talk a little bit of Luka here. Is it just me, or do I feel like a lot of Laker fans not that happy with Luka right now? I haven't really mentioned Luka. Obviously he hasn't played yet, or he didn't play tonight. I'm assuming he's going to play on Saturday. But I feel like the energy I'm getting so far on Luka, I feel like there's this the vibe I'm getting about Luka. A lot of the vibe I'm getting from Luka is this guy's out of shape. I'm getting that more than anything else, that this guy's out of shape. Is that fair for me to say that that's how people are focusing on Luka right now? I feel like there's more negative chatter about Luka than there is positive. By the way, I'm not here to sway you guys one way or the other. I just want your guys' honest opinion. That's it. I think clearly Luka needs the ball in his hands. He clearly is a player that's going to need, I got the ball in my hands. Everything's going to run through me. I think there's going to be a lot of that. I really think that's kind of what I think this is eventually going to look like. I think eventually it's very clear that the Lakers are going to build a team around Luka. I think it's clear Luka also is, there was a quote, or there was a soundbite that I used a little bit earlier this morning from Shams Charania saying that, sources were telling him that Luka's still shell-shocked. There's a lot of times I'm looking at Luka and I'm like, I don't feel like Luka has realized yet that he's a Laker. I swear to God, I feel like Luka is in this, he exists, but he's not living. It's a great quote. I've heard somebody say, I think they were talking about me when they said it. You can be somewhere, but you're not physically there. Like, you're physically there, but you're mentally not there. And that's almost kind of what Luka is right now. Luka looks like he is, again, he exists, but he's not living in kind of the moment, I guess you could say. All right, let me see what some people are saying here about Luka. But that's been my perception, and that's how I feel like a lot of people are talking about Luka. I could be 1,000% wrong, but at least the chats and the comments that I'm getting, I'm doing some live shows, or I get tweets, or somebody hits me on X, whatever the case is. That's kind of the vibe that I got. That's the vibe that I've got. All right, let me read some of these comments here. Let me go back here. Okay, I'm being patient with Luka, no rush. Okay, I don't blame him, still trying to find his stride. Okay, let's keep going here. I miss AD and Max. No guarantee Luka stays anyways. Okay, it's a fair one too. I mean, obviously, if Luka decided to leave the Lakers, then the Dallas, if if Luka left the Lakers, then the Mavs would have won that trade, especially if obviously Lakers don't make any noise in the 2 years that Luka's technically a Los Angeles Laker, the remainder of this year and next year as well. But I would have a difficult time thinking that the Lakers would not have at least somewhat of an idea that they feel like they can re-sign Luka if they're going to go out and make that trade, or maybe they're just taking their chances. Man, Luka's focusing on his conditioning, losing 15 to 20 points, I think pounds before the postseason, may unlock this team and him. We just can't survive a clear weak link on defense given our size at center. Yeah, I think this comment kind of falls more into the line of what I'm talking about, is that you're kind of playing with house money this year. That this year is kind of this year. You still need to build a roster. Like whether you got Luka or you don't, you got to build a roster. When before the trade happened, the Lakers traded for Dorian Finney-Smith because it fit what the Lakers were building with Anthony Davis, with LeBron, with Max Christie, with Austin Reaves, with all these guys. They all just fit. Before they made that trade, the roster fit. And maybe they were going to go out there and go trade for another big, whatever they were going to do. Well, now that you just kind of added Luka, that doesn't mean this roster fits. But they all knew that coming into this trade. I don't think that should be a shock to anybody here. So I think that has something to do with it. A lot of people, I will say a lot of people are just very blunt. They don't think Luka's in shape. And I'm watching him play too. He clearly looks rusty, and it clearly doesn't look like he's in shape. Let's see some more here. How can people not be happy with Luka? The potential is mind-boggling. I don't think anybody's questioning the mind-boggling. I think people the Lakers just got Luka, and there's this just like, oh my God, he's going to come out here and drop 35, 9, and 9 because that's what Luka does. And clearly it's going to take him some time to do that. This is the fun part of the schedule, because once Luka gets here and has some games under his belt, and then the games matter a little bit more, or the competition is tougher, or you're on the road playing in a really tough game. All right, now it's kind of like, let's see the Luka that everybody knows is Luka. I still think he is shell-shocked. I do. That part I agree with. Give Luka a few weeks, 100%. Nobody, and by the way, nobody's sitting here telling you. I've said this, and I think I took it from somebody's comments that hit me up during one of the post-game shows before the All-Star break. It was like, let's see what he looks like mid-March. Mid-March, you can't have any excuses. Mid-March, nobody's going to be sitting here saying, give Luka some time. He's just getting back. He's rusty. Mid-March, you got to see Luka. That's what I think everybody's going to be expecting, is to see the Luka that we're all accustomed to. All right, let's see. Luka narrative has been strong. Slee, you said he looks sad for days. Oh, in his presser, I mean, he did look sad. No question about it. Okay, this is a good one. This is ridiculous. He has played 3 games. Just wait until he drops a double nickel 55. People will be glazing him hard soon in a couple weeks. Can I tell you something? You're not wrong. I think everyone's waiting for that. Guys, it's Luka Doncic. When I think Luka, I think unbelievable, ridiculous passes. I think the buzzer beater over the Clippers. I think the step back against Rudy Gobert in the Western Conference Finals. I think I think of these amazing moments. And I think what you're talking about here, you're 100% right. People are waiting for that. They're waiting for Luka to have one of those games where he's talking shit to the other team. He's talking crap to the crowd on the road. That's what they're waiting for. You're right. It's only been 3 games. You're right. He hadn't played since Christmas. He's coming off of that calf strain. Didn't play tonight. But I think people are, just because it's Luka, they're waiting for that moment, right? They're saying to themselves, yeah, but it's Luka. All right, let me get a couple more in here. All right, let's see what we got here. Luka looks like he got traded when he didn't accept it. He's on a new team, new city, when he expected to play in Dallas forever. Plus, he played in 3 games. Let's give him some time. I think it's Ernie 76. That's kind of what I mean about my point of like he's here, but he's not here. He's sitting on the bench, but he's still mentally like, how am I not a Dallas Maverick? What do you mean I got traded? I'm one of the best players in the world. I'm box office. I'm an international. He probably got his feelings hurt too in the process. He's still getting used to his new relationship. All right, I got some more, couple more supers I got to get in here. Quick shout out here. I mentioned it before. Again, thank you to Wisteria. Thank you to Mitch. Thank you very much for gifting out some new members. Roken B is a new YouTube member. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you doing that very much. B is a new YouTube member. Thank you very much. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. So thank you for being a member. John Wayne is a new member. John, thank you, brother. Very, very nice of you to become a member. So thank you very much for doing that. Let me get into some more of these comments here. Over an hour? What the hell just happened? I just started the post-game show. Amir had already gave in a 20 spot. Amir, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Amir followed it up with another. Here's another super chat just because I've been following you since freshman year of college, and now I'm in middle school, still following you. Love your work. Go Lakers. Amir, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Save your money here. That's it. No more. If you try to throw another one at here, it's getting declined. That's enough. Save your money for med school. I appreciate you, Amir. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. This guy just freaking throwing cash. Relax. You got loans to pay over here. I should be paying you. Thank you, brother. Something tells me Luka doesn't re-sign with us. I know I read that one. I don't know. I think Luka, I think the Lakers will accommodate. Let's just put it that way. I think the thing to watch out for, which is kind of interesting, let me throw you guys a name. This is not based on anything, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what Giannis does. I really do. I think Giannis, I wouldn't be shocked if Giannis at some point, he's already kind of challenged the ownership before, and ownership has listened to him. They went out and got Dame. They just traded Middleton, who was beloved there, and went and got Kyle Kuzma. Whether you think Kuzma is going to work or not. Portis, I saw, just got suspended for 25 games. But I think Giannis has made comments before about big markets, and he made, a comment similar to that he likes that international players are going to big markets. I think Giannis will be an interesting one to pay attention to. The point I'm trying to make here is Lakers will accommodate anything to Luka. What do you need? Is the goal to try to win? Perfect. That's our goal as well. We're going to get you players. We want to get you the right players. Be involved. You can be as involved as you want in some of our decision making. They're not going to do what Dallas did. Let's put it that way. But he's got to also get over, eventually he's got to get over, how he feels about the situation. John Wayne, looking forward to continuing our debate about LeBron and the Lakers. You earned my membership. Great, Sean. Thank you, John. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the supers. Thank you for being a member. Slee, you got to get Jason Timpf on the show for this. All right. Did you spell that right? Let's see who this is. Jason Timpf. Do I know Jason? Oh, yeah, I know. I didn't know actually that's his last name. This guy's got a solid NBA show. Does a solid NBA show. All right, let me work on that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Luka's the only player I wouldn't want to see at the end of a closeout playoff game. Now Luka's on the Lakers. Everybody needs to relax. JJ's got him. I think this comes with the territory, Isaiah. I think you kind of know how this works, right? There is ridiculous, impatient expectations instantly. But here's the other thing that I'll tell you. Luka's so good that it's like, yeah, well, when's that game coming? And it will come. Hopefully it comes soon. Hopefully it comes on Saturday on the road against Denver, who's won 9 games in a row. That's going to be an interesting game to watch. That's a tough game. You know that place is going to be rocking. Denver's going to be rocking, and they've had the Lakers number. Whether you guys like it or not, they've had the Lakers number, no question about it. All right, here's another one. I can't wait for the LA announcers to shout Luka Magic. Yeah, that was their guy. That was Dallas's guy. You're right. They're going to be shouting that now in LA. Relax, guys. Luka will find his way back to reality. Oz, thank you for the super. Slowly 010. Thank you for the super. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much. All right, petition. Instead of a super, it's now officially Super Slee. Super Slee. Mitch, thank you, brother. I appreciate you very much. All right, let's get a few more comments in here. Thank you for all the supers. So, Mitch, thank you for the super, brother. Oz, thank you very much. Thank you all for the supers. I appreciate you guys doing that. Somebody else gifted, and I'll get to that before we close out the show of the MVP members. So I'm going to get to that in just a second here. Very, very nice of you guys. Let's see a couple of these other comments. Joker 40. I was thinking 60 because 40 is what AD would get him. Now he's got Alex Lynn. You know, I will say, no question about it. I will say that, you know, whoever was guarding Joker, it didn't matter. I mean, as good as AD was, Joker would cook AD. So stylistically, the Lakers are going to have to play completely different. Completely different. Allen, prayers up for Wemby. Man, how about that freaking story? I saw that. I just opened ESPN and just completely shocked that this guy dealing with a blood clot and will be out the rest of the year. Let me read exactly how they're shutting down Victor Wembanyama over blood clot in his shoulder. That's some scary stuff. You know, I know there's been some other players that have dealt with this in the past. Chris Bosh, if you guys remember, it was a reoccurring issue for him. So, yeah, that's crazy. Wemby coming off, and, you know, how great that he's been, how great he's been eligible for the defensive player. He won't be eligible now because it's that 65-game minimum. He was I think he was the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. So just really, really, really tough news for Victor Wembanyama, the San Antonio Spurs. So hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's definitely okay. All right, let me get another one of these in here real quick. B, who just became a member, is gifting 5 Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa memberships. B, I appreciate you doing that. MVP members, it's $3 a month. We've had very giving people so far in the chat. That's 11, I think, memberships that people are giving out there. So thank you for doing that, B. That's very, very nice of you. I appreciate this community, man. You guys are phenomenal, and I appreciate you guys, whether it's helping others or just wanting to grow the channel or whatever the heck your guys' intentions are. It's organic and it's honest, so I appreciate it. Anthony, what's next for Slee's MVPs? Any more behind the scenes or exclusive interviews? Yes. I'll eventually get it where I'm doing something probably weekly, but 100% you're going to get some behind the scenes. For those who are members, I did post a video, a behind the scenes video on Saturday of just kind of the office, touring the place, a little bit of little more information on the channel. A couple people gave me some great suggestions, so I'll keep all that in mind. All right, my people, I got a show coming up here in freaking 10 hours here. 10 hours. So I'm back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and we'll continue. You know, there's some good conversations that came out of this chat today. I think probably some more stuff about Luka. Austin Reaves seems like a good conversation. This game coming up against Denver, on Saturday is going to be a really fun game. So we got a good show coming up tomorrow. So I really, really appreciate that you guys hung out for the entire show and everything else. So thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys don't mind. And I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you in the morning.